Hey, joining us in the studio right now, one of my best mates, Sami Parker. And I say that without tongue in cheek because he is one of my best mates. And I think one of your best mates is something that's important to be able to say. I'm lucky to be able to say I have a best mate because a lot of people don't get to say that. And a lot of people don't have mates in their life. And that's what this is all about right now. Sami Parker from Grab Life by the Balls. Meet Sami Lukis.
G'day, Sami. How are you?
Morning. Thanks for my coffee.
Oh, you're welcome.
3 Sams in the studio. This is getting weird now.
This could get confusing
Well,
at some point.
and I'm always at the end of that. I was on stage with Sam Wood and Sam Mitchell the other day, and then I'm like, I feel like I'm the token Sam wherever I go.
You're the number one Sam in the studio
thanks,
right
Sami.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, tell me the charity Grab Life by the Balls, best name ever. How did that come about?
It was just a need. We were just sort of knocking our ideas around. We sort of stumbled across doing stuff in the men's health space. We started finding that we're doing some cool stuff, but we wanted to relate to men. And I think that's a big thing when it comes to men's health issues. There's not enough related to men. I think men actually, there's lots of stats around men actually starting to put their hand up. They're actually doing the right things, but it's sort of the system that's kind of letting them down as well. So what's a thing that's emotive? What's kind of says what we do without saying it, but also is going to create a bit of a call to action, if you like. And yeah, Grab Life by the Ball. So lucky we've trademarked that. Now we can talk about it. So it's
awesome.
all good.
I love it.
Now, Sami, you give us a bit of a rundown because I know we're coming into Father's Day, which can be a bit of a heavy day for some dads who don't. For one, I'm not really looking forward to this Father's Day simply because I know I won't have my baby girl with me. I miss her terribly. It's a stressor for some people.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, there's lots of big issues that come out with, single dads and things like that as well, and not being able to see our kids and things like that. There's lots of massive issues, and that's a lot of the underlying causes when it comes to male suicide in particular. Everyone thinks it should be mental health or anxiety, depression and other things under that umbrella. But most often when it comes to male suicide, there's actually a lot of life stress underneath that. So financial pressures, job loss, relationship issues, all these things are actually the major causes. And I feel like we're not talking about the causes. And if we're not talking about the causes, we can't talk about the right solutions. So it's a really big issue. So Father's Day, a big day for men in general, and to celebrate men. Like I think we get, kicked in the gonads every now and then about what we're trying to do. But there's lots of stats saying guys are putting their hand up. Guys are trying to make a difference. And there's a lot of good blokes like us out there trying to make some positive change. And we want to make that massive.
You mentioned that, obviously, Sam, you say things like Father's Day, little triggers. Are there some warning signs for blokes? Because you sweep things under the carpet, you just keep, doing life, and then all of a sudden you snap. Are there some warning signs as a bloke that you can see that you're getting to that point where you really need to consider your mental health a bit more seriously?
Yeah, I think
Grab life by the balls.
Yeah, grab life by the balls. I think that's why we talk about mateship and having 3 close mates. It's up to sometimes when you're in that bubble of stress and there's a lot going on, it's hard to see outside of that. So I think it's up to us as mates, not just to ask, are you okay, but to sort of be there. And are you okay is fantastic, but we also want to just be a mate in that space. You don't need to be a psychologist. You don't need to be a counsellor or anything like that. You don't need to be professional. When guys are in that space, when you're down in the dumps, when we've had some good chat, Sam, in those situations. You just want a mate who's going to listen and not to be scared of the answer. We don't need to do anything with it. We just need to be a mate and be there with them. And I think it's up to our mates to keep checking in. We don't have beers with our next door neighbours and all these sorts of things that we used to do when I was a kid. And
we don't play sport like we used to do and hang out like we used to do and go footy training 2 times a week and do these things.
And I think that's part of it too, like the how that we used to connect. Like, maybe we're not the best at it and we definitely communicate different to women. But I think a lot of how we do it is also lost, like the sporting connections and even if it is sort of grunting around a barbecue or at the pub and those sorts of conversations, it's those hows aren't as
obvious.
Yeah,
or as prevalent. You're right. You mentioned barbecue. You have a dream, and here's the microphone opportunity because you've been banging on about this for a little while, but this is coming into Father's Day this year. It's been finally the moment that you've gone, let's make this public, let's get onto it.
Yeah, well, when your charity's called Grab Life by the Balls, sometimes you've got to live up to that motto. And I was hiding behind that we put this little call out pre-COVID. And it didn't go quite to plan, obviously. Socially connected events and getting people together wasn't the best time for those sorts of things. So, Sami, I don't know if you've heard this pitch before, but I'll pitch you. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
So, as we were talking about before, 7 men in Australia die by suicide every day in Australia. Would you say that? Yeah, it's un-Australian.
Tragic.
And mateship is one of the best things guys can do for their health and well-being, having 3 close mates in particular. So, besides the pub, where do most Aussie guys, where do you find them grunting, standing around, beating their chests? Barbecues. We think we're pretty good at barbecuing, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. We have no And there's lots of different types of world records. We have no world records to do with barbecuing. Absolutely none.
Really?
Australia has
Like-
none.
Really?
Like
We are the barbecuing capital
Yeah.
of the world.
It's-
If anyone's going to hold a world record in barbecuing, it's got to be us.
Unfortunately, it's the Mexicans.
Yeah, the Mexicans, 55,252. Even
Oh,
Paraguay,
what's the record based on?
the bunch of people that they've got.
How many people at one
50.
barbecue?
Yeah.
I see where you're going here. This is fabulous.
So I reckon we should combine the two. We need to claim what's rightfully ours. We need to turn around men's health stats in a blokey, fun and Aussie way. And what better way to do it on Father's Day in 2024 by having a barbecue, a big barbecue across the country, celebrating mates and grabbing life by the balls.
I love this.
Good,
So
eh?
for next Father's Day,
Next
so you've got
Father's
a
Day.
year
Yep.
to get your mates together.
And what do you need?
Well, I need help.
Yep.
I'm leading by example, I'd like to think, and I'm putting my hand up. I need some help. So it's a really big, ballsy idea, but it needs legs. It needs an event
All
planner.
balls need legs.
So what are you going to have? You're going to have one big barbecue, or people just have their own
Well,
barbecues
that's what
around
that's
the
what I need
country?
to discuss with the right event planner and a team that we need to get in place to do that.
We need a marketing department. We need business
need
executives. We need
exec-
Oh,
people
so
who
you're
know.
literally putting the call
Yeah.
out now
Yep.
for people to jump on board who
Yep.
want to help you out in
Yep.
creating this incredible event for next
Yep.
Father's Day.
Yeah, because we have a bunch of things. There's a big missing piece of the pie when it comes to men's health and well-being. And this big event can get the name out there, but we have all these ideas and programs in place ready to go to help make positive change to men's health stats, in particular suicide stats.
Righto, we've got to wrap this up. But if you would want to get hold of Sami Parker, how can we get in touch with you, mate?
GrabLifeByTheBalls.com.au and you'll see the tab for Biggest Barbecue 2024. All the info's there.
GrabLifeByTheBalls.com.au. If you know anyone in the world of high-level coordination, event planning, marketing strategy, all this sort of stuff, we need you. We're going to put on the world's biggest barbecue, tackle the Mexicans, and win this Guinness World Record for the biggest barbecue in the world. Father's Day next year.